The only thing constant in life is change. We go through physical and mental changes at all times. Some of these changes are accidental, some are intentional, some happen to us and some we make happen, but change takes place anyway. Changing for good is progress. We can change our mindset, behavior, values, build new skills, and acquire new habits. We can change our thoughts, actions, and responses. We can change our influences and association. We are all capable of change if we want to. True self-help is the ability to change for good. It's an act of directing oneself to where you want to go. It certainly requires that you consider good advice and contemplate great ideas that can transform your life.
The irony with change is that, as humans, we are ready to change if we have enough reasons to change. Consciously or subconsciously, we make changes based on a need that comes out of emotional triggers like inspiration, desperation, or frustrations. We need reasons for change. That's why they say reasons come first and answers come second.
Just like anything else, you have to have a bigger reason to want to do something, a bigger reason to change. And sometimes that reason has to be bigger than you. Coming from the environment that I came from, I'll never forget one of my first mentors, Simon. He said to me, he said, "Shane, what books do you read?" And at the time, it's unfortunate to say, but the only book that I was reading at that time was Hot Rod Magazine. And he said, "No, what do you read for purpose?" And at that time, it was nothing. He said, "All right, the first week we worked together," he said, "we're going to read a book together." And that book changed my life. That book was called The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. And from that day forward, once I started to read, I started to get a different belief in me that I never had before. I started to get a confidence in myself that I never had before. I started to learn things that I never had before. See, they didn't teach us these things in school. They didn't teach us these things when I went into my elementary school or when I went into my junior, or high school. These are things that I didn't learn until later in life. And once I started to read and once I started to get excited, I started to read the different chapters in the book and I started reading about different people that had success in their life. And, when I started to read about biographies and the different, people like Henry Ford and Andrew Carnegie and the challenges that they had to go through, I realized that they're no different than me. They grew up sometimes worse off than me. And I realized none of that mattered. Each person that I read their biography, they all started out the same way. And what I realized was they all started to learn something new. See, we're ignorant in the beginning. We don't know what we don't know. And until you start to learn, until you start building your mindset, it's our choice. And you're either growing or dying. And it's your choice to figure out if you're willing to continue to keep learning.
Change is hard. Change demands you to do something new, make you behave differently, and can make you feel vulnerable because you can even fail when you are trying to make changes. Even if you try to change, do not underestimate change. Don't think that you can change with your willpower alone.
There are certain things that you can change with your willpower and certain things you can't. There is a situation called body taking over the mind, meaning your subconscious programs are overriding your decisions made by your conscious mind. You feel that you're not in control, that you have no grip over your emotions or willpower. When you see people suffering with addictions or certain self-sabotaging habits, you see that they are not able to stick to certain decisions of quitting certain habits.
Psychologists call it the willpower trap. According to Kerry Patterson, author of Change Anything, the willpower trap keeps them in a depressing cycle that begins with heroic commitment to change, which is followed by eroding motivation and terminated inevitably by relapse into old habits. Then, when the built-up pain of their bad habits becomes intolerable, they muster up another heroic but doomed attempt at change. We feel as if we were ascending a summit when in fact we're simply walking a treadmill. Lots of effort, no progress. That's the willpower trap.
When you force yourself, you are falling into the willpower trap. Making monumental shifts, however hard you might try, can be turned into something very difficult. But making small changes is easy. Small changes practiced habitually have a compounding effect and they can become big changes over time. Habits are sequences of actions that are very much automatic. Therefore, Start with small habits.
Your life is to a large extent the sum of all your habits, good or bad. 40% of what we do every day are habits. If we want to change our results, we need to change our habits. You can take control of your life by changing your habits. Habits never truly disappear. They are just overpowered by other habits. When we start and continue a way of thinking or a way of acting over a long enough period, we've created a new habit. To make some serious changes, we need to undo some old habits and replace them with new habits. To do that, first, you need to take a stock of your habits.
What sort of habits do you have? Think about the things you do every day. It may take more time than you think to do this exercise, since habits can be so ingrained in our routine that you may not actually even notice that you're doing them. What do you do right after when you wake up? After that, do you eat the same thing or same breakfast every day? How do you react to situations and people? What are your habitual responses to everyday demands at work and in life? Some habits can be very toxic. They can be reactions to situations and people, like getting irritated in a traffic or snapping out of a loved one, or allowing ourselves to go down that worried rabbit hole by always seeing the negative in every situation. Write down your list of habits from the moment you wake up to retire to bed. Once you feel this list is complete, color code it. Write with a blue pen, circle the good habits that you have, that you want to keep. With the red pen, circle the ones that you want to change. Make a separate list of the ones you want to change with each habit on its line. Beside that habit, write down the habit that you want to replace it with. Now here's an example. Watching TV before bed to book reading before bed. Replacing TV serials or series with learning new skills like inspirational documentaries or watching master classes. Drink water instead of soft drinks. List the new healthy habits that you want to replace for the old negative habits. Once you're done with that, the next step is to get yourself a routine. It could be getting up a new sleep routine, or a new wake-up routine. It could be unplugging yourself from the tech, or maybe having that no phone on the dining table policy, or making a few minutes every day for relaxation, or doing a bit of stretching exercises every day, or going for a walk, or smiling a few times a day. It could be small baby steps, and then you can use the habit tracker or a journal to keep the momentum going.
Habit stacking is an effective technique that involves stacking the new behavior you're trying to adopt onto a current behavior to help you remember to do it and ape or perform it with less mental effort. It is the concept of layering multiple habits on top of each other so you complete them in one efficient routine instead of being scattered throughout the day. For example, your goal might be to drink more water throughout the day, so you decide you're going to start drinking a glass of water every morning. Instead of setting another reminder for it, you stack it on top of another habit, like brushing your teeth. After brushing your teeth in the morning, you are going to drink a glass of water. Every morning, those two actions should be associated with each other, brushing teeth and drinking water. The more regularly you do it, the more automatic it will become. Some more examples of habit stacking are, when you get off the bed, you will make the bed and keep it tidy. You will do 10 push-ups right after you finish your morning tea.
By stacking a new habit over an existing habit, you can develop new rituals that will become a healthy habit for you. Also, this strategy works by eliminating procrastination and instead of making a practical routine out of the things we normally put off. Remember this, small, consistent changes will amount to big changes eventually. So the focus is on small baby steps and doing them consistently.
Changes are possible if you know the difference between what you can change and what you can't change. The Serenity Prayer says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Focus on what you can control.
Don't let the little things become big things. And what do I mean by that? Sometimes in life, I would go through things where, some of the littlest things would bother me. One of the kids would spill a drink, right? All over the floor, first thing in the morning. And now I lose my mind. I'm freaking out. It ruins my whole morning. And then what happens with that? My morning is going to spiral out of control, and the rest of my day is all going to be dictated by how I chose to react or respond to that situation. I used to let the little things in life bother me. I used to let that disorganization completely run my day. Now, I learned to look past it. I learned that those little things can't control me. They're just such small things. In the grand scheme of things, it's so small in the grand scheme that it doesn't matter. I can allow those things to happen. The drink that's spilled on the ground, no big deal. We'll get it later. Now, it doesn't affect me. It's not going to affect my day because everything will also spiral out of control. But if I can let that go, I'm not in that negative vibration. So when I get in the car and I get out there in traffic, people beep a horn at me, I can wave at them. Before, I was into road rage. Now somebody beeps the horn at me in traffic. I look over, I roll down the window. I say, "Good afternoon, sir. How's your day going?" It frustrates them. They're still in a negative day, and I keep on moving with my day. It doesn't affect me at all. So, that's one of the biggest things. Just try to keep in mind that don't let the little things, don't focus on the things you can't control. Focus on the things you can control, and that is your attitude. That is your choice. You get to choose if you're happy or if you're sad.
So far, we have learned a great deal about Mindset Makeover. We understood how attitudes affects us, how we can change our attitude by the way we think and feel. We also learned about beliefs and how it affects our mindset. We also learned how we can change our beliefs for the better. We learned how we can change our values and thus change our priorities and choices in our lives. And here is the last piece of the puzzle that can help you change your mindset. Occupy your mind with something worthwhile. Think about goals. Our mind is a goal-seeking, goal-fulfilling mechanism. We just need to constantly engage our mind with a vision of life that we want to live. As we dream about, we bring about. As it occupies our mind, we take action and we work towards achieving them. Therefore, think about your goals, set big goals, and work every day towards making them a reality.
If you can continue to dream, continue to set goals, and if your dreams don't scare you and your goals don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. You got to set goals that if you hit them, it would blow your mind. You want to set goals that when you tell somebody else your dream and your goal and what you're going towards, that they look at you as crazy. If they don't see you as crazy, your goals aren't big enough. Redetermine, look at yourself in the mirror and say, why can't I go for that bigger house? Why can't I move to a different city? Why do I have to settle for mediocrity?
Our mind is seeking something at all times. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad for you. It's always in the pursuit of something, and it chooses to be preoccupied with thoughts. It can move towards fear and can think about the things it wants to avoid, or it can move towards love and think about the things it wants to experience. When you keep your mind busy with a target or a goal, it tends to use all the resources to achieve it. Therefore, feed your mind with a magnificent vision of life. Doing so is one of the best ways to gain clarity about how you want to shape your life. It will help you to make better decisions and to be aligned with the direction you want to pursue, as well as avoiding the wrong direction or worse, having no direction in the first place. A vision of your life includes a mental image of how you want to live and experience the life that you want to have, which includes all major areas of your life: your health, your wealth, happiness, and relationships. Occupy your mind with quality questions. What's your vision of a typical day? What's your vision of an accomplished year? And what's your vision for a successful and fulfilling life? Vision matters not only for the direction and for the goals you set, but also to tap into the opportunities in life whenever they appear right in front of you. When your vision is aligned with the right people and circumstances, you can take advantage of several breakthroughs that lead to greater success. Remember, when your mindset changes, the whole world around you changes.